been having a bit of a sort of sort out at work in our old electrical equipment, um, and one of the staff came across this box, and in this box is quite an interesting little piece of history, really, if you like. Um, Years ago, our company used to do calibration on all the instruments internally in shop. We never used to send them out. Um, and likewise, because we used to make old vacuum tube and valve voltmeters and Nixie tube meters and things like that, and oscilloscopes, we needed calibration equipment and things like this. The Ballantine came from where I work, and stuff is all obsolete now for calibration purposes. Um, and going through one of the drawers of one of the engineers who left a couple of years ago, we came across this. And this is a Muirhead standard cell. And what these were used for in the day was to provide an accurate voltage reference. Um, they give out, I think it's a 1.81 volts. It's a standard voltage, and these things are sort of super stable and super accurate. And I've got a life of about 10 to 15 years. So someone came across this and said, "Oh, I found a standard cell, last tested 3rd of the 12th, 1975." So, okay, it's 40 years old, basically, isn't it? Um, and it's got our calibration not required anymore because obviously this is a standard cell. There's nothing really you can do with it. Um, so they said, "Well, throw it away. It won't be any good." But before we threw it away, we thought, "Well, we'll have a look inside and see what it is." And it's a Muirhead. It's a well-known make, Muirhead Limited, Beckenham, Kent, England. And here's a couple of the patents that are obviously, I don't think they are probably pending at the time. So there's a list of the patents on the back. So let's have a look inside and see what we've got. So inside the box, all there was this bubble wrapped container, nothing else in the box, and inside was the standard cell. Now this is the standard cell, pretty straightforward. Inside is the actual the gubbins itself. So someone said, "Well, stick it on a meter and just see if it's got any voltage on it at all." So the first thing, you must be very careful with these are they have a very, very, very high impedance. You can't put an analog meter on them. Something like a normal analog meter will kill this cell. So first of all, you've got to do is you've got to find a meter that's got at least a 1 mega ohm input, possibly higher. And I'll demonstrate this with the Agilent 34401 there, which is I think it's close on 1 gig input impedance. So someone said, "Okay, let's plug it in." And to our amazement, when we plugged it in, we thought there'd be some voltage in it, but let me just show you. I mean, this was actually tested a couple of months ago, so let's just see if it's still performing as well as it did when I tried it. I'm not going to keep this connection on for long because even this slight load on here will kill the battery. I want to take this back to work because I think a lot of people are quite interested in it. It was going to get thrown out, but it seems a shame to throw away something like this. We'll check the voltage. There you go, 1.01866 volts. Now I think you'll find if you look that up, and I will verify that, that is absolutely spot on. That's exactly what it's meant to be. It also tells me that the Agilent meter is also spot on. So that's quite incredible to think of. Basically, what is just a battery is still working after 40 years of sitting around. You wouldn't get that from a Duracell, that's for sure. So let's take the back top off it and have a quick look inside, and so we can see what's going on. It does actually tell you to store it in a vertical position. We'll just whip these screws off and we'll have a look inside. not a lot to see, but I don't know if you can see in there. There's two cells in there. They're full of electrolyte. I need to sort of look up exactly how they work, but yeah, you can see. You probably can't see that in the camera. When I tilt, I can see the meniscus of liquid inside. So that's the inside of the cell. But really, I mean, this is just a curiosity video, really. But I thought it was quite interesting to see that something as old as that, a battery as old as that, is still producing its correct voltage after 40 years, which is, I think, quite amazing, really. And of course, in a modern day now, precision references, you don't need anything like this. And you'll also come across this actually if you do a search on eBay for voltage standards. You'll find a lot of voltage standards like the Bradleys. There's a company called Bradley who used to make lots of voltage standards, and they do a valve reference, a valve high voltage power supply, which is very precision, but that's also got a calibration point on the front, and that has a standard cell output as well. We've actually got one of those at work, and that still works fine after all those years. So there you go, one more run, 1.8, 1.0186, so absolutely fine. Anyway, thanks for watching, and more to come.